Hey everyone, how's it going? Shane Malika here with Phyxius Power Building, and today we're going to do a little bit of continuation on what we talked about last week. Last week we went over the basic anatomy of the triceps, and I showed you some, easy, basic dumbbell exercises that you can do in order to increase the size, the strength of that particular muscle group. So today we're going to continue, but we're going to be focusing more on doing the exercises with resistance bands. We've talked about this before in previous episodes that there's some advantages to utilizing resistance bands. One is that variable resistance. So as you're moving through the range of motion, the band is getting tighter and tighter. That mimics this, the length tension curve or the strength curve of a muscle group, because as a muscle is contracting, it's actually getting stronger and stronger. So the resistance bands can help to mimic that and help to support that length tension curve. Also, another advantage of those resistance bands that we've talked about before is that you don't have to rely on gravity as much. You can put the band in any plane and be able to mimic many exercises that you can do in the gym. So what I have right now is a band set up. We're in a different part of my house. We're out of that creepy basement. We're on the first floor here. I just wanted to be able to show you can do exercises in order to increase your size, your strength, pretty much anywhere in your house, especially with the resistance bands. All right. So little refresher from last week. Remember, triceps, as the name implies, 3 heads to it. 2 of the heads attached below the shoulder joint, if you will, and another one attaches way up at the top. That's the long-headed tricep. It attaches above the shoulder joint. So remember, any exercise you do is always going to activate all 3 heads. But depending on what position you put your shoulder in, it's going to put that long head in a different position, and that will help you to emphasize it a little bit more. All right, so 3 basic exercises that we're going to go over today. Again, I just have a resistance band set up here. Remember, when you get a resistance band, it's always a good idea to get these little door anchors. They're pretty nice. They're cheap, easy. That way, again, it gives you more options on how to anchor your band. You don't have to rely on having a pole nearby or anything like that. Just make sure with the door that you decide to anchor it in, remember, make sure that it is closing towards you, not away from you, because if, God forbid, if it was opening towards you or out towards you, and if it were to flip out, you would be probably one of those people that, would be on those epic fail videos that you see all the time for weightlifting. So I'm going to anchor this about head height. All right. And what I'm going to be mimicking here with the band is essentially just a band skull crusher, if you will. So I'm going to take a good staggered stance. All right. My my upper arms are parallel to the floor. And from here, I'm just going to bend, straighten out my elbows all the way, and then bringing them back. Again, 2 seconds for the concentric, pause. 2 seconds for the eccentric, pause, and repeat that. Again, it's all about intensity. It's all about time under tension for those muscle groups. Don't try to do the ego lifting and put a lot of weight on, because then all that's going to end up happening is you're going to end up cheating on the movement, doing short movements instead of full ranges of motion. So very similar to that dumbbell skull crusher that we're doing, but with the band. Now, in order to maybe emphasize the long head of the tricep a little bit more, you would usually want to be putting your shoulder, your arm, in a little bit more of an elevated position. There's a couple ways I can do that with the band. One, I could actually stand on the band and have it stretch all the way overhead. Or if I have a door anchor like you just see here, I can just anchor it lower and shut it up. There we go. And now from here, I can take that band, hopefully, there we go, and now stretch it up and overhead. And again, all I'm doing, straightening out my elbows, bringing them all the way back, full range of motion, all the way straight. The fact that I'm in a more elevated position with my arms means that I'll be emphasizing the long head of the triceps along with the other 2 heads as well. And use that same cadence. 2 for the concentric, pause. 2 for that eccentric, and pause. And again, bring those hands all the way back behind your head to get that full range of motion. So if you don't have a door anchor, what you can always do as well is just stand on the band itself. And then from there, bring it up and overhead, and that same motion, almost as like a French press with a dumbbell. And back down. All right, so again, just trying to bend at the elbows, try not to move my arms too much. Straighten all the way up and down. All right. The last one that you can consider will mimic actually a rope pull that you would see at a cable apparatus at the gym. Taking the door anchor, placing it all the way up, shutting that door, and again, make sure that door is closing towards you, not closing away from you. Again, I've seen it before where accidentally the door unlatches, and then this person, the person who's got the band, they end up getting bitch slapped by it, and it hurts from what I've seen from other people. So having the band up and overhead, keeping my elbows directly at my sides, getting some tension on the band, and then all I'm going to do is straighten out my elbows, bringing them down, trying to get that good squeeze at the bottom, and then back up. Squeezing it all the way down and bringing it back up. And again, I like to bring it up. Some people come just to a 90 degrees. I bring it all the way back up. I want to get that stretch in there. And back up. Again, remember, depending on your goals, that can change your repetitions, but we are talking about the triceps here, a smaller muscle group when it's all said and done. I'm going to stop right there. When it's all said and done, it's not like those the big muscle groups like your chest, your back, your quads, where you can do high weight, low reps. Typically with the triceps, biceps, it's usually better to use a little bit of less weight and go with higher reps. So sometimes 15 to 20, around that rep range is going to be the best in order to drive blood into that muscle, help you get that good pump, which will help to affect the size and strength of the muscle group. So thanks a lot for joining today. Hope you got a little bit out of this. Next week, what we're going to be actually doing, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a cooking show, very basic, easy, just to kind of give you maybe a recipe that you can utilize at home that's easy, has a good macro profile to it, and hopefully, you like it as much as my family does. So you guys take care. Remember, this is all about struggle. This is all about strength. Struggle is strength, so get that struggle on, all right? Take it easy, guys.